Hi everybody. So today in this video I will be making some lentils with brown rice and tomato paste, which I'll add at the end when it's hot, but after the official cooking is stopped. So after I turn off the gas, I'll add the tomato paste. So anyway, I haven't actually done this before exactly this way. I've cooked the lentils and rice separately, and then I mixed them together afterwards. But today I'll be cooking everything together, and of course I've never had this mixture with tomato paste, so this should be really nice. I'm going to go ahead and start getting things ready. Alright, okay, so the first thing I've done is to add the lentils to the saucepan, so I put the whole pound in there. That's 1 pound of lentils, right? Now, the next thing I'll do is add half a pound of rice, and I'll show you that in a minute, but question you might be wondering is, why only half a pound of rice when I have a whole pound of lentils? Well, the reason is that when I can eat lentils all by themselves and they're just fine. I mean, nutritionally they're great. So why do I even need rice at all as far as nutrition goes? Well, it's just different, but I don't really need to put a whole pound of rice in there, and not only that, everything is going to expand up as I cook, so there really isn't room for 2 pounds worth of this stuff, and rice really expands a lot. So I'll just put in half a pound of rice, and I think that'll be great. Okay, let me pause this video here. Okay, so back again. Now you can see down in there that I have added the half pound of rice, and it's just like by sight. I mean, what I did was I just looked at it, and just by my visual estimation, I put half of the package of rice in there, and it was a 1 pound package of rice. So there you have it. A half a pound of rice and 1 pound of lentils, and it actually looks like it's going to be really expanding a lot, so that might go a little bit high in the saucepan, but if necessary we can always take some out while I'm cooking. But the idea is I will stir all this together, and then I will add a lot of water and just start cooking it and stirring it as I cook, bring it to a boil and boil it for a while, and maybe turn it off after about a minute of boiling, let it sit for 20 minutes, and then I can bring it up to a boil again, and then just boil it a little while, and then turn it off, and then it will finish cooking as it's cooling down. So if I let it sit another 20 minutes, we'll probably add the tomato paste pretty soon after I finish cooking, so maybe I'll cook it a little bit longer, and then add the tomato paste, which will cool it down. And then I might add some oils afterwards. I could add some sunflower oil, or I could have a mixture of soybean and canola oils in a 1-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to get started on this, and if I have too much, I can take a little out. Once it's all mixed evenly together, I can take a little bit out and put it in a plastic bag, so this won't overflow as everything expands. Alright, so catch you all later with more details on this. Okay, here is an update now. This time I'm using the built-in flash on my smartphone, but I have mixed this together. So this way it illuminates down in there, and I don't have a light on outside, but nearby this, but an external light. But look at this. Okay, the rice and the lentils are mixed together, but it's a little bit too high in the saucepan. So I have two things to tell you all. I think in the future I'm going to add a pound of lentils to the saucepan, and next add, let's say, a 1/4 pound of rice instead of half a pound, or maybe 1/3 of a pound, because we really don't need a lot of rice in here. It looks like you got a lot of rice. For some reason, a pound of rice is a lot of rice. So, and this is all going to expand a lot. So I think what I'll do now is take some of this out and just bag it in a plastic bag, tie it in a knot at the top. I mean, you can use a Ziploc bag, whatever you want to use if you encounter a situation like this for yourself. But this is like, first time cooking lentils and brown rice together. So green lentils and brown rice, I'm going to take some out, and then I'll get started on cooking this, and I'll be back later probably when it's all finished. And I'll add the tomato paste after that, before I get back with you all, I think. All right, so enjoy. Have a super time. Thanks a lot. Okay, hi everybody, I'm back. I've got this finished lentils and brown rice here, green lentils and brown rice, and so I stirred in that can of tomato paste that I had earlier, and I stirred in a 1-to-1 ratio of soybean and canola oils, and this is really nice. But I just want to say one thing now. When I was cooking this, I cooked it like all together from the beginning, but now that I'm thinking back, I really should not have done it that way. I should have cooked the rice a little bit first and then added the lentils and finished cooking everything, because the lentils for me tend to cook a lot faster than the rice. I don't like my lentils cooked really like super soft and like waterlogged. So for example, when I first started cooking lentils, I would cook them for like I bring them to a boil and then turn them off and let them sit for 20 minutes. This is just cooking lentils all alone. And then bring them to a second boil, turn them off, and let them sit for another 20 minutes and eat them. But those are kind of soft and waterlogged and overcooked, and I found that I only needed to do that once. So you just add your water and your lentils, and you cook that, bring it to a boil, stir it around. Maybe you want to do that for a minute if you want to extend it, and then and just turn it off and let it sit, and then it's ready. Okay, so you don't really need to cook your lentils for very long. So rice, on the other hand, needs to do that whole thing twice, and you really need to kind of have your heat on and stir the rice a bit and use plenty of water. Like you can add water after the second boiling. So rice just doesn't seem to cook as fast as the lentils do. So having said that, I think the way I would do this next time, doing this again, is have your rice, whatever it is, half cup, quarter cup, a third of a cup, with some water, you know, and bring that to a boil. Let it sit for 20 minutes. Add your lentils, which is going to be a pound, and then bring everything to a boil and stir that and have it boiling. You know, you can have that for a few minutes, like 5 minutes or more. But then turn that off and let it sit. Well, you can't let it sit for too long because you have to add the tomato paste when it's hot, I guess. I think that's a good idea. So, you know, then you add the tomato paste, stir it in, and if there's plenty of water, you know, it'll get absorbed in, and that'll make it seem more cooked. You should not overcook your food anyway. So that's my opinion. So basically, I think next time I will do this differently, because by the time I got to the first boil and then turned it off, the lentils were already sufficiently soft for me and my tastes, but the rice was undercooked. It just wasn't really cooked, you know, all the way. So the rice needed more cooking, but the lentils were by a plenty analysis, they were certainly well enough cooked. So the lentils in here are really soft and overcooked, but like I said, I'll do this differently another time, I think. All right, well, thanks. Hope you enjoy the video. Have a super time. I appreciate everything.